In the realm of celestial beings, there exists a class that we know of, yet only through fragmented clues within the pages of Scripture, the cherubim. These entities are far from the gentle, innocent angels often depicted in Western art. Instead, they are among the most powerful and mysterious beings, ever ready to carry out the will of God. Have you ever wondered why they appear in the very first chapters of the Bible, guarding the gates of Eden after humanity's exile? Or who they are when they accompany the throne of God across the Kabar River in Ezekiel's vision, taking on a form beyond imagination, 4 distinct faces, vast wings, and a force that defies human limitations. So what exactly are the cherubim? Are they merely sacred gatekeepers, or do they embody judgment, mercy, and supreme power? Each time they appear, they bear an immense responsibility, from guarding the tree of life, keeping it beyond the reach of humankind, to resting upon the Ark of the Covenant, where God promises to meet and command His people. Cherubim are not only guardians of the sacred, but are symbols of unfathomable power, absolute purity, and perhaps even hope for humanity. Yet the mysteries surrounding them persist. We encounter them in the ancient texts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, each faith providing a different glimpse into their image and purpose. Who are they in the eyes of God? And why do they play such a crucial role in the most sacred moments of history? In Western Christian art, however, the cherubim are often depicted as small, chubby children with delicate wings, floating in innocence, a portrayal that barely scratches the surface of their true nature. This depiction, inspired by classical art's Pato, a cherubic child representing purity, might make them seem akin to the mythical Cupid of Roman and Greek lore. But in truth, the cherubim are anything but gentle. Join us as we delve into the unexplored secrets, into the world of the cherubim beings who stand at the throne of God, figures that are both awe-inspiring and terrifying, stirring even the strongest of faith to wonder and reverence. In the Bible, the prophet Ezekiel witnessed a vision that defies earthly understanding, a vision of the cherubim carrying the very throne of God across the Kabar River. Detailed in Ezekiel 1:5-11, often referred to as Ezekiel's inaugural vision. These beings were more than celestial, they were awe-inspiring, enigmatic, and terrifyingly majestic. Described as having the form of a human but with 4 distinct faces, those of a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle, each representing dominion over realms of creation. The face of man stands for humanity, the lion for wild beasts, the ox for domesticated animals, and the eagle for the birds of the sky. But these beings were far more than symbols, they were embodiments of God's authority, presence, and power. As Ezekiel recounts, I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning. Surrounded by brilliant light, at the storm's center was a blazing fire that appeared like molten metal, and within the flames were 4 living creatures. Their appearance was staggering, human-like, but with 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet shaped like a calf's hooves, shining like burnished bronze, a symbol of their heavenly origin and purity. Beneath each of their wings, there were human hands that symbolized the capability to act upon God's will. Each creature moved straight ahead, their wings touching as they moved, never turning, but advancing with singular purpose, and they moved with a blinding speed, like flashes of light. This is no ordinary vision, but a manifestation of divine forces that defy human comprehension. Ezekiel gives us a rare glimpse of these magnificent beings, with 4 wings, a human form, and faces that blend humanity with the raw, untamed nature of animals. The calves' feet suggest they stand apart from the earth, neither constrained by it nor humbled by its limitations. Imagine the fearsome power and divine authority they must embody, a reminder of realms beyond human power or understanding. These cherubim, however, are not explicitly named as such in this part of the Bible. It is only in chapter 10 that Ezekiel reveals their identity as cherubim. He states, "I looked and saw beside the cherubim 4 wheels, one beside each of the cherubim. The wheels sparkled like topaz, each appearing as if it were a wheel intersecting a wheel." These wheels are as unsettling as they are mystifying. Ezekiel describes how the cherubim moved in any direction without turning, guided only by the faces they bore. They were accompanied by these whirling wheels, which were entirely covered with eyes piercing, all-seeing, capable of perceiving everything in every direction. Each cherubim had 4 faces, one of a cherub, the face of a human, the face of a lion, and the face of a lion, and the face of an eagle. Here, Ezekiel's description diverges slightly from his first vision. The face of an ox is mysteriously replaced by the face of a cherub. The exact reasoning for this change is left unexplained, adding another layer of mystery. This shift implies a distinct appearance for the cherub face, different from that of a human, yet Ezekiel does not reveal what makes them unique. Moreover, the cherubim's entire bodies, including their backs, hands, and wings, were completely covered in eyes that reflected an all-encompassing awareness, a penetrating gaze that misses nothing, a symbol of God's omnipresence and omniscience. These whirling wheels, known in Hebrew as the ophanim, are not mere components but divine instruments, sometimes envisioned as the wheels of God's chariot. They are strange, profound, and evoke a sense of both wonder and unease. Covered with countless eyes and moving in concert with the cherubim, they suggest an existence beyond human understanding. The cherubim, bound to these wheels, move in perfect harmony, each motion dictated by the gaze of their many faces, never faltering, never turning. In this vision, we glimpse a universe where unimaginable beings serve God with perfect unity and relentless purpose, their forms and features embodying realms of divine rule and power. This East Orthodox art piece from the 5th or 6th century depicts Ezekiel's vision and is referred to unofficially as the tetramorph cherub. In this mosaic and other pieces of Christian art, the tetramorph shows us a being with wings and the 4 animals, as described in Ezekiel 1:4-8. It is also believed that each of these 4 components represents the 4 evangelists, with Matthew being the man, Mark being the lion, Luke the ox, and John the eagle. The mosaic is also thought to be an amalgamation of the seraphim that Isaiah sees in Isaiah's commission, or the 6-winged creatures found in Revelations, where John sees what might have been another set of cherubim in chapter 4. Often in Christian mythos, the cherubim are thought to be second to the seraphim in the angelic hierarchy, and whilst details can differ between the 2 classes depending on the source, the key distinction between them appears to be their closeness to God and their form, with the seraphim appearing with up to 6 wings. Yet again, even these details can be altered depending on the author, where one can expect to find even the mechanics of their wings to be a point of contention. But whilst Ezekiel's account of the cherubim appears to be one of the most vivid, we are still left in the dark as to who the cherubim are and what exactly their role is, other than to serve God. We see them carrying his throne across the Kabar River, and we see their presence amongst the whirling wheels in Ezekiel's vision. But beyond this, Ezekiel does not tell us what purpose they serve in the grander scheme of things. Some ideas propose that the cherubim are merely just another set of angels or celestial beings, similar to the seraphim, or that they are physical representations of God's judgment. This likely stems from the account in Genesis 3, after God has banished Adam from the garden. We are told, "So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. After he drove the man out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life here." The role of the cherubim is to primarily guard the gates of Eden and to prevent man from getting back in. After Adam had taken the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, his natural progression would have been to take the fruit from the tree of life and to gain immortality. But after having betrayed God by falling for the serpent's words, God deemed man unworthy of immortality and so denied him from ever supping from the tree. Taking no chances, we even see him here give the cherubim, as if they weren't strong enough already, a flaming sword to fend off man should he dare find his way back to Eden. Yet another idea regarding the cherubim also relates to the fall of man, in that they are considered by some to be a symbolic representation of a redeemed humanity, or a humanity who had never sinned. The cherubim by this idea are perfect in appearance, eternally youthful, powerful, and the closest to God. By this they serve as a reminder of what could have been had Adam and Eve not given in to their temptations, and remind believers that they should strive to be better. There's also hope in this idea, in that should one be righteous and not make the same mistakes as Adam and Eve, they might yet achieve the cherubim status and become closer to God. There is also an idea that the cherubim are a symbol of God's mercy, for in Exodus 25, we see God make a covenant with the children of Israel as he sets out instructions for the construction of the ark, that which was a golden chest that contained the tablets of the covenant. He tells them, "Make an atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. And make 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. Make 1 cherub on the end and the second cherub on the other. Make the cherubim of one piece with the cover at the 2 ends. The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with them. The cherubim are to face each other, looking toward the cover. Place the cover on top of the ark, and put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law that I will give you. They're above the cover between the 2 cherubs that are over the ark of the covenant law. I will meet with you and give you all of my commands for the Israelites as can be seen." God's instructions state that 2 cherubs are to be fashioned out of gold and placed on the cover of the ark. This is otherwise referred to as the mercy seat, a term which has Hebraic meaning to cover, appease, cleanse, or make atonement for. It was believed that once a year, a high priest would sprinkle the blood of a sacrificed animal onto the mercy seat so as to atone for his sins and the sins of the Israelites in an effort to appease God's anger. It was also believed that here in the presence of the ark was the only place where forgiveness from God could be truly achieved. With that, the inclusion of the cherubim atop the mercy seat certainly makes them seem like advocates for God's mercy and figures that represent God's compassion towards mankind. God also tells the Israelites that they're above the cover between the 2 cherubs that are over the ark of the covenant law. I will meet with you and give you all of my commands for the Israelites. And by this, it might be said that the cherubim are something of a bridge towards God, or perhaps as close as one can ever get on the mortal realm, by promising the Israelites that he will meet them there before the cherubim. The cherubim automatically become hallowed tokens or characters, those who are still held today in high regard as they signpost the way to God. It isn't the first time that God instructs something to be built with the inclusion of cherub symbolism. For when it comes to building the tabernacle in Exodus 26, otherwise known as the tent of congregation, God instructs the Israelites to fill the tent with 10 curtains. He says, "Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim woven into them by a skilled worker." By including the cherubim upon the curtains of the tabernacle, they serve as a constant reminder of how important they are to God, and perhaps, like in the aforementioned example with the fall of man, they serve to remind man of what they could have been and what they still might be in terms of their closeness to God. You'll notice that it requires a skilled worker to complete this task, and not just anyone, suggesting yet again the importance of these winged creatures. As if that wasn't enough, we later understand in the first book of Kings that the ark was placed inside Solomon's temple, which furthermore cemented them as paramount figures, and that Solomon built 2 large cherubim statues that were made from olive wood. We also see the cherubim described in a more practical use for the Lord, in that he uses them to fly. In a song of praise by David, we are told, "He mounted the cherubim, and flew, he soared on the wings of the wind." Through this, it might be said that the cherubim maintain yet another role, and that is to serve in transporting God from heaven to earth. Meanwhile, in Jewish beliefs, the cherubim also have some paramount importance, despite being the 9th rank in the angelic hierarchy, according to various editions of the Torah. In some Kabbalistic works, however, the cherubim are considered to be among the seraphim in authority and appear to rank much higher. Rabbinical literature also points to there being a total of 2 cherubim, one who is a girl and one who is a boy, and that the 2 take the seat of either end of the mercy seat. Of course, within Judaism, there is a wider range of belief when it comes to the role and nature of angels, and there is much debate within communities as to how biblical passages that speak of angels should be interpreted. The cherubim are no exception, with some beliefs painting them as more metaphoric or even illusionary figures, to others interpreting them as mystical entities. In various midrash, the cherubim are sometimes twofold, and are often seen as aforementioned God in the gates at the entrance to paradise. However, their physical appearance is often debated, with some believing they are more human in nature or others believing they take a more ambiguous form. According to Titus Flavius Josephus, however, a 1st century Roman Jewish historian, he states in his book Antiquities of the Jews that no one can tell or even conjecture what the shape was of these cherubim. Another Jewish belief is that the cherubim exist not as gods for paradise, but instead as something of a divine courier who acquires information from the spirit of a person. It is believed that the spirit reveals to the cherub every good and bad thing that a person has done, which the cherub then takes to the seraph, who will bring it before God for judgment. Meanwhile, in some Islamic beliefs, the cherubim are the closest of all the angels to God and can sometimes be seen as 7-fold, much like the archangels. These angels are often thought to be found floating around the throne of God, where they constantly shower him with praise, often with the phrase "Glory to Allah." There's also an idea, according to some Islamic exegesis, that the cherubim shine so brightly that no one is actually able to see what they really look like. It's evident, then, that the cherubim are unanimous amongst all 3 of the major faiths, and whilst there are some differences, they all appear to subscribe to the same idea that they are very close to God, that they are exemplary figures, and that they are by far superior, perhaps far beyond our own comprehension. In conclusion, the cherubim are among the most profound and enigmatic beings in Scripture, holding a place that bridges the sacred with the mortal realm. From their role as guardians of Eden to bearing the divine throne in Ezekiel's vision, These beings represent not only power and authority, but also purity, judgment, and mercy. Unlike the innocent portrayals in Western art, the cherubim are symbols of God's omnipotence and omnipresence, demonstrating a depth that transcends simple understanding. Across Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, cherubim are revered as those closest to the divine, embodying a strength and reverence that few other celestial beings possess. Through the cherubim, we learn that there is so much beyond our earthly understanding. They remind us to approach the mysteries of life with humility, knowing that some truths are meant to inspire reverence, not complete comprehension. The cherubim also remind us of the balance between judgment and mercy, and the unwavering devotion expected of those who seek to be close to God. In a way, their presence calls us to reflect on our own spiritual journeys, to strive for purity, loyalty, and a respect for the divine in everything we do. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the cherubim. If this journey sparked your curiosity, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more insights like this. We look forward to continuing this journey with you. Until next time, keep seeking, stay inspired, and we'll see you soon.